we're here, we're doing tier lists. You all seem to like the tier lists previously, and now we're going to be doing some more. Starting off today with a Mario Kart items tier list. Seems appropriate given that the new game has been kind of unveiled properly here. So we got some actually lovely pixel art renditions of all of the items in Mario Kart. Props to whoever made this. And we're going to be ranking them, seeing which ones are the best, which ones are terrible, which ones are an active detriment. And yeah, let's get into this. We're going to start off with, and so, okay, so triples are their own thing. All right, so the single banana. A single banana. Now, bananas as a trap are, let's be honest, bad. They're pretty bad. Also, I just saw Appboy is following me now. Thank you, Appboy. Sorry, I didn't have any way to see the notification at the time, but thank you for that. Anyways, so bananas as a trap are bad. They're pretty bad. Like, they only minorly slow you down. They're easy to spot, typically pretty easy to avoid. Where they're really useful, though, is as defensive items. Like, if you are in first place, a banana is arguably the item you want to see. And one can make an argument a shell is technically better, but a banana does the job. And actually, the banana is probably better in first place, because if you do want to go on offense, everyone's behind you anyway, and that's the best place to use a banana, is when someone's behind you. So, I think a banana, it's not S tier, but especially in the context if you're in first place, and if you're in the positions where you're getting a single banana consistently, the banana is something you're very happy to see. Blooper, on the other hand, like, it just doesn't do much, is the thing. Now, granted, I've been hit by bloopers when I was playing some of the DLC tracks or not the booster course pass tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe before I had familiarized myself with them. And it messed me up pretty good. If you've played a track like 3 or 4 times, though, at least, like, this blooper doesn't do anything. And it's compounded by the fact that the blooper doesn't do anything. You get it pretty far back in the pack, and everyone else's items at that position actually, like, harms you. So, I mean, is it a C tier item? Like, it's a D tier item. And already I'm thinking we're going to have to add an F tier, like seeing some of the other items that are coming up. So we're going to add a row. We're just adding an F tier. Right here. F tier, and F tier can be, gray. There we go. Okay, that should be fine. We now have an F tier. I don't think blooper goes all the way down to F tier, but there are items that will be. Alright, the blue, otherwise known as the spiny shell. So, anyone who's played Mario Kart knows this is the item, you get it, you just nuke first place. In that sense, it's like an S tier item. It's like the best way to hit the player in first. The issue is, who gets the blue shell? Normally it's like 6th or below. And if you're 6th or below, hitting the player in first place doesn't actually help you, like, at all. So, I mean, I guess in a certain sense, like, if you have any ambitions to eventually claw your back up and win the race, you do want to keep first place from getting a massive lead, but in the moment, it doesn't really help much. It's sort of a collective action problem. Like everyone is benefited. Everyone other than first place is benefited by first place being taken down a peg. But whoever is the unlucky soul that actually has to be the one who gets and fires off this item is put at a disadvantage in the same way that you're at a disadvantage if you fire a blooper off. Because this item doesn't really help you directly. Now, it's a bit better in Mario Kart 8 because it goes along the track, so it has a chance to hit other people on the way to first place. Whereas in, like, Mario Kart Wii, it just flies over everyone and only hits first place. But even still, like, because I'm judging this from the perspective of, like, I just got this item in the position where you're likely to get this item, right? Because, you know, like, a single banana is not going to be better than a lot of these items on this list, but it's better in the context that you can actually get them in, right? If you could get a Bolt Bill in first place, then the banana would be, like, F tier. But you can't get a Bolt Bill in first place, and you can get the bananas in first place. So, in that context, compared to what else you can reasonably expect to get at that position, then bananas are pretty good. So, but the issue is, I don't think in any position where you get the blue shell, you're actually that happy to see it. Like, there's maybe a bit of catharsis if someone, like, you know, and dislike or whatever, is in first place, but Otherwise, I think it's a C tier item. Like, I'm not going to be upset to get a blue shell, but it's not really helping you much. Okay, so this is a Bomb. Bombs are fun, right? Like, there's almost nothing better than, like, a perfectly thrown bomb and you blow someone up. It is tough to do that, though. Like, that takes a lot of skill to pull that off, and a bit of luck. A lot of times you throw the bomb, usually it does nothing. Or you throw the bomb in front of you, like 10% of the times you get your miracle, I hit them perfectly bomb throw. Then I'd say, like, 70% of the time it does absolutely nothing. And then the other 20% of the times you somehow hit yourself with it. Like, I think it's better as a defensive item. Especially because whoever hits it, like, really gets hit. And I guess I'd rather have a bomb than a blue shell. But not by much. I think bomb is... It's either low B or high C tier. I'm looking at the other items on this list, it's gotta be C tier. Like, it's just not good. Now, the Boo I don't actually have a ton of experience with, because most of my Mario Kart 8 gameplay is on Wii U, not on Switch, so I didn't play much with this. As I understand it, so the Boo makes you invisible/invulnerable for a time, and steals an item from someone else. So I guess it's, like, variable as to how useful that is. I assume going invisible and invincible, like, invisibility makes you invincible, right? You could use this, like, dodge a shell, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really well-versed in the Boo. I don't know, I think it's probably another C-tier item. Like, it could get you something decent, but I don't think it's actually that good in and of itself. Boomerang. So the Boomerang Flower, you get 3 uses. It's limited in its range, but it comes back to you, so you can throw it again. You can hit multiple people with a single throw. Depending on your perspective, this is either a better green shell or a worse green shell. I don't think it's a particularly good offensive item. It's kind of tough to use. But when it works pretty well. So I think we can put this right here. Now, in terms of items I don't have much experience with, the Double Dash exclusive items, which this one is, the Bowser Shell, that's going to be up there with things that I'm not super familiar with. I have played Double Dash a few times, but not extensively, really. So Bowser Shell is like, it's a super green shell. It's almost like if you crossed a green shell with a boomerang. And I remember it being pretty powerful. It's probably better than the boomerang, at least. Is it an A tier item? I don't know. I haven't played Double Dash a ton. Like, these are pretty scary. I don't recall them being particularly effective, though. Right, as I recall, I think my reaction was more so, oh my goodness, he's got a blue shell, then, oh yes, I've got a, or, oh my goodness, he's got a Bowser shell, then, oh yes, I've got a Bowser shell. Time to pay, chumps. So I think high B tier makes sense. Alright, moving on. Bullet Bill, I mean, it's an S tier item. Like, this is an item that could single-handedly take you from, like, last place back into contention. It makes you invincible, it makes you fast, makes it so you can't mess up or fall off the track. Like, if you are doing poor enough to get one of these, this can set you straight real quick. I mean, there's not really much else to say about it. Additionally, Chain Chomp is going to be the same tier because Chain Chomp is the Bullet Bill, basically. It's just from Double Dash and was a character exclusive item, but yeah. Both of these, like, if you are really far behind in, like, the last place or something, these specifically are the items you are praying to get. Like, these are the items you're holding out for. Coin. Coin, I think, is an F tier item. Like, you're never happy to get a coin. Like, they're not difficult to pick up just off the track. You can't use them defensively. You can't use them offensively. I mean, they don't actively harm you, but, like, the coin item in and of itself made the Wii U's version of Mario Kart 8's meta really stale, because you never wanted to use any of your items in first place, because there was always the risk you would get a coin to replace them. So, yeah. Alleviated somewhat in the Switch version, because now you have 2 item slots, but still. Not a good item. So the Crazy 8, in theory, you'd think it's good. I mean, it's like one of like 8 different items. I forget what the items are specific. I think you get a banana, a bomb, probably both types of shells. a star. I know for sure that's part of it. A mushroom. And then I guess 2 other items, which would have to be... I don't know. Tough to say. But here's the issue. Like, you can't actually use it strategically, so it's just you spam a bunch of items. It's basically just a star with in practice. And stars are good, don't get me wrong. Like, this is an A-tier item, probably. And it creates a ton of chaos around you that can trip up your opponents. But it's just hard to use strategically in any reasonable fashion. The fake item box. Man, I love the fake item box. I'm so disappointed they didn't bring it back in Mario Kart 8. Like, it's just fun. Now the issue is the fake item box looks like extremely obvious in most games that it appears in. Like, in a couple, it can be mistaken for a real item box, but most of the time not. And also, if you've played the game in any significant amount of time, you know where the item boxes are, so this isn't really going to be tricking anyone. But it does, as I recall, have a greater effect when you actually hit it as compared to the banana. And so you can use it just as a banana, as just like a normal obstacle, not trying to trick anyone with it. The other downside it has that makes it worse than banana, probably... Is this a B tier item? It's probably C tier. Yeah. You can't use it defensively, though. So that erases a lot of the utility from it. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I mean, as fun as it is, maybe it's a D tier item. You can't use it defensively. You can only drop it as a trap. It's not a convincing fake. And I see why they got rid of it. I'm still upset about it, but... Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the feather I have, like, no experience with. You can jump. Because, like, this is only in Super Mario Kart in the battle mode of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I basically haven't used this. I'm going to put it in F tier. I can't imagine jumping being useful in, like, 99.999% of cases. I know in Super Mario Kart there's, like, some shortcuts that are specifically designed for the feather. But even in that game, isn't it, like, basically useless outside of that specific context? Yeah, not a good item. Not a good item. Better than coins, but yeah. Fire Flower, the Fire Flower. I'd say this is definitely better than the Boomerang. Right, you get a bunch of projectiles. They're hard to aim, but they do ricochet a bit. They don't have the greatest effect, but you can get so many of them. It's arguably just better green shells. Offensively, at least. I'm not sure I'd put it as an A tier item, because you do whiff quite a bit with this. But something behind you with the Fire Flower is pretty scary. So I think high B tier makes sense. Now this is the fireballs that Mario and Luigi have in Mario Kart Double Dash. It's comparable to the Fire Flower. I think the Fire Flower has it beat just a bit. But maybe Bowser Shell too. But yeah. This one I don't really have much experience with, because I didn't play Double Dash extensively, but I've played it a bit. The Giant Banana from Mario Kart Double Dash. Again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here. I haven't played a ton of Double Dash. It's a banana that's bigger. It's probably about as useful as a banana, I think. Maybe a bit worse, because it's... Well, maybe a bit better? I guess it's probably a bit better, because it's massive. Yeah, it's a bit better than a normal banana, we'll say. Now, the Golden Mushroom. Infinite speed boost. So long as you have... so long as it's active, right? It's infinite speed boost in a limited amount of time. In theory, you use this properly, this is an S tier item. In practice, you give this to the person in 12th place, they crash into a wall and die. So yeah. The issue is anyone who is skilled enough to use the Golden Mushroom properly is doing well enough that they're not getting the Golden Mushroom. Right? And heck, even I don't particularly like getting the Golden Mushroom. Just the infinite speed boost. Like, you want to spam it constantly, but that's just not the way to do it. You end up crashing into stuff and falling off edges. So, the funny thing is I'm going to end up ranking mushrooms above Golden Mushrooms, despite the fact that the Golden Mushroom is objectively a better item than mushrooms. Right? Anything you can do with a single mushroom, you can do with a Golden Mushroom. It's just the issue is anyone in sufficiently low place to be getting a Golden Mushroom is just gonna fly off a cliff or crash into a wall and actually end up worse than they started off with, right? Most of these items, it's pretty hard to use them and then you end up worse off. Golden mushroom, I swear, I think that's at least half the time, and that's a conservative estimate. The person who uses this ends up worse off than when they started. Green shell. I mean, it's got to be close to banana tier because you use these for the same purpose. A single green shell, you're using that for defense when you're in first, second, third place. You got the advantage you can take a snipe at the person in front of you, which I would argue, because the forward offensive options are better with the green shell. And honestly, the defensive like attacking backwards might even be better with the green shell than a banana. Right, the banana sticks around, but the green shell, I feel like you can target a bit better. Really just take someone off guard with that. So I'm going to put it slightly above the bananas. It's got basically the same defensive utility, but I think its offensive utility is significantly better. So the hearts. This is like another double dash item. I think Peach and Daisy get this. I don't recall what they do, honestly. I think they make you invincible for a moment. Let me check that. Hearts. Double dash. Okay, what does the heart do? Heart shield. So, it just blocks stuff. Ooh, and you steal the items that it blocks? Okay. I don't have much experience with this. It's got to be at least an A tier item with that description. Probably above the 8. I think it's probably of a limited duration, so I think I'd probably rather have the bananas and shells. But defense is really good. And, you know, Greg, I'm talking to someone who's normally in the lead in Mario Kart races, so I'm going to value some of these defensive items a bit higher than probably most people, but like being able to block what's coming in at you, that is very important in Mario Kart. Okay, so lightning is weird. Lightning hits everyone ahead of you and shrinks them, which slows their speed down considerably. And then they get unshrunk at a rate that is inversely proportional to their placement in the race. So whoever's in first is going to be shrunk for the longest. Whoever's in like 12th or 11th is going to be shrunk for the least amount of time. So the issue though with this item, right? I hate getting hit by this in first place. Also, it removes your item, so it's like really good. The problem though is if you're getting this, the person, since the duration of the shrinkage scales based on your placements, the people directly ahead of you, which is who you want to be attacking the most in Mario Kart, are going to be shrunk for barely any time at all. So I think that makes it probably a high C tier item. I do think it's really effective. And like I said, if you're in first place, you hate seeing this come up. But for it's a blue shell problem again. Like, it's really annoying for the higher positions. But for the person who actually used the item, like, it's a minor inconvenience to the people you actually want to be targeting. So the lucky 7 is the 8, but it has one less item, so it's going under the 8. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, so the large mushroom, it's kind of like a star. It lets you crush people in your path. It makes it so things like the lightning turn you normal size instead of small. I think it makes off-roading better, so you can use it to take shortcuts. I mean, it's generally a pretty good item, pretty good utility item. That's probably an A-tier item. Is it better than bananas? I don't think it's better than the bananas. But I think right here makes sense for it. Normal mushroom. A single mushroom is not that impactful. Lightning wins most infuriating item award. Agreed with that for sure. Well, that or blue shell. So a single mushroom is good. Or a single mushroom on its own doesn't necessarily affect things that much. What a single mushroom allows you to do on certain tracks, you could take some really crazy shortcuts. And there are certain shortcuts that taking them can easily move you up 3, 4, 5 places. You need to know when to use it. The other benefit of a mushroom is it's a pseudo-defensive item. Right, it's not going to block you getting hit by a shell, But if you have a mushroom in your pocket, you get hit by the shell, and then boom, you use the mushroom, immediately you're back up to speed. Which is... And the acceleration, especially if you have a low acceleration vehicle, is a big part of why getting hit is bad. So if you can take that out and just go to full speed immediately, then you're going to be in a much better position. And for that reason, would I rather have mushrooms or I think I'd rather have mushrooms than bananas. But not than green shells. Yeah. Piranha Plant is okay. It's like a speed boosting item, but it doesn't give you enough of a speed boost to take shortcuts, as I recall. You can eat people that are directly in front of you, which is fun, but in practice it's kind of tough to get that close to people. I don't hate it. I think it's a solid B tier item, maybe a little bit above the boomerang. Because at least with the piranha, you're consistently getting speed boost. It's almost a better golden mushroom in a certain sense, because it gives you a lot of speed boosts, but they're actually manageable. So yeah, I think I'd rather have the piranha over a over a boomerang, but rather have fireballs over the piranha. That sounds right. Pow Block doesn't do much. It's sort of like lightning, except if you shake the controller, all of its effects can be mitigated entirely. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. I think coins are still worse, but the Pow Block, it doesn't do much. It's just kind of a mild nuisance, honestly. Red Shell. A red shell. I mean, it's got to be an S tier item. It homes in, destroys the person immediately in front of you. This is an item you'll love to see it when you're in 12th. You'll love to see it when you're in 6th. You'll love to see it when you're in 2nd. You'll love to see it when you're in 1st. There is not a placement I would be at and be disappointed to get a red shell. And even better, you can actually get it in, like, all those placements. I think even first has a chance to, Did the music stop, by the way? I think the music stopped. Oh, no, we're still going. Okay. Like, red shells are so good, it feels unfair when the person behind you has a red shell. And granted, there is counterplay of, like, oh, if you're trailing a shell or banana. But even then, you've gotten rid of their item, now they're open to attack with something else. It's pretty dang good. So, the star, it makes you invisible, gives you speed boost, makes off-roading good, or not good, but takes away the off-roading penalty, so you can take shortcuts and stuff. So it's basically the giant mushroom, but better. And I would say, is this an S tier item? I don't think it's quite S tier. I think it's top of A tier, though. Use it at the right time, you avoid getting hit by stuff. Use it at the right time, you can crash into people. Use it at the right time, you can take shortcuts. Like, there's a lot of utility to the star. I think I would definitely probably... The downside is only lasts for a certain amount of time, but you can choose when you activate it to hopefully get the best advantage. The Super Horn. Super Horn is weird because it's really good against the blue shell and kind of sucks at most. Well, no, not really. I mean, red shells is good against too. And those are really like the two things you're most afraid of in first place, which is where you're likely to get the Super Horn. And it's terrible offensively. But, I mean, just the fact that you can be in first place and you mitigate a blue shell. Like, a blue shell can take you from first to, like, fourth. If you have an item that just with a push of a button, no blue shell, push of a button, no red shell, like that is powerful. The only issue is it's so rare that it's kind of rare that you actually have that opportunity. This item appeared in Mario Kart 7, the leaf. Gives you a little tail that you can theoretically whack people with. In practice, it doesn't actually do anything because this is not a melee game. It has, like, no range on its attack. I mean, and, I mean, I think you can defend against shells and stuff, but you gotta get the timing just right. Like, maybe it's a D tier item if I'm being generous, but it's not good. So this item, the Lightning Cloud, it is actually an active detriment. Basically, you have the cloud, And if you run into someone, you give them the cloud. But while you have the cloud, you have a speed boost. So, like, in a perfect world, you get the cloud, you use the speed to, like, pass the people, then pass it off right before it goes off, and then shrinks the other person. Yeah, the hot potato cloud, indeed. What usually happens is, like, you're just minding your own business in some scrum. Someone rams into you, all of a sudden you got a cloud over your head, and like, what's that? And you try to run into someone, and then you get shrunk. So, like, this actually, I think, is the worst item in the whole game. In the entire series. It's a cool concept, but from the perspective of what do I want to see in an item box, not this! I would rather have coins than this. Now, granted, they didn't appear in the same game, but that's because this item sucks so much that it didn't get a chance to appear in more than one game. Okay, now we're on to triples. Triple bananas, and obviously it's got to be better than normal bananas. And you know what? I think it's good enough to be S tier. Especially because in games prior to... I forget if they changed it in 7 or 8, but in some of the older games, the bananas trail behind you in a line instead of circling around you, which makes them a much better defensive option. Which actually means, I think triple bananas is probably... Is it better than a red shell? Triple bananas... Triple bananas beats 3 red shells, but... Yeah, I think I would rather have... Especially if you're the lead, triple bananas basically makes you invincible. Short of a blue shell. Especially if you're in one of the games where they trail directly behind you, instead of circling your cart. So yeah. Triple green shells is not as good, but I mean, it's still... It's okay. It's like A tier. Like, the defensive bonus when they're circling around you is mitigated. You know, actually, now that I've mentioned that, I think I'd rather have a single green shell than triple green shells. I know it sounds crazy, but if I have one green shell, I can trail it directly behind me, and it's guaranteed to block a red shell that comes in. If I have triple green shells, they're circling around me, and there is a chance the red shell slips through. Especially once the first one is gone. So yeah, I don't think you actually get that much extra utility. You know, it's hard to hit someone with a green shell, and having 3 of them doesn't necessarily make it easier. Sometimes they actually crash into each other, and you mitigate yourself that way. So, yeah, I think, would I rather have a single banana over a single green shell? Over triple green shells? You know what? I think I would. Like, oh, this is madness. This is an insane take, but 1 green shell is significantly better than 3 green shells. The math doesn't math, but anyone who's played Mario Kart knows I'm right about this. Now, triple mushrooms, though, that is just objectively better than 1 mushroom. It doesn't have the same problem as the golden mushroom where you're going to kill yourself with it, but it's just a mushroom with extra uses, which is good. I might even say it's better than the star. I'm not sure I put it up in S tier, but a star... I mean, it lasts a bit, but here's the thing. You have 3 mushrooms, that's potentially 3 shortcuts you can take. And there are some tracks that have a lot of shortcuts you can use in quick succession. Not to mention there is the pseudo-defensive bonus where you can, you know, get hit, boom, you're immediately back to top speed. Triple red shells. I mean, that is just better than a single red shell. In fact, I think triple red shells... It's better than a bullets. Now, granted, like, you gotta keep in mind the context. You're getting bullet bills in, like, 6th place and below. You're getting triple red shells all the way up to, like, it's certainly 3rd place, maybe even 2nd place. If you manage to get triple red shells into 2nd place in the last lap, then congratulations, you have won the race. Like I said, a red shell feels unfair. Triple red shells, especially if you get double, triple red shells, that is, like, it feels like you're playing against a hacker, quite frankly. Like, they home in, and the thing is, there's no defense that can get past it. Even if they have 2 defensive items, you hit the first one, destroy their first defensive item, destroy their second defensive item, and then still get them. And if they don't, even better, you knock out the guy in front of you, knock out the guy in front of him, knock out the guy in front of him, and now you've moved up 3 positions from a single item. Well, 3 items that take up a single slot. Like, it's unfair. And then we have eggs. This is another Double Dash item, right? What do the eggs do in Double Dash? Does anybody know? Eggs, Double Dash. No, not eggs doubled in price. Eggs Double Dash. Alright, so the eggs. Okay, it's an egg. I want to know what it does in Double Dash. I thought this was like a red shell, right? Description, like a red shell. But it drops to random items when it sets? Okay. Okay. Oops. So, I mean, I guess it's a red shell. I'm gonna put it a little below because, like, I can. And there you go. Well, that is the Mario Kart items ranked. Any changes I want to make to this? I mean, we got some controversial opinions, like a single green shell being better than triple green shells, and golden mushroom being F tier. And triple red shells being better than, like, bullets and stuff. But honestly, I agree with this list. I think this makes sense. Like, we got, like, super amazing items that can, like, win you the race almost single-handedly. Solid items that you generally are happy to see. Items that, you know, you can get ahead with them. They're not, you know, they're of marginal utility, at least. Items that don't really actually do all that much when you think about it. Items that do literally nothing. Items that are actually active detriments to you. Like, I think that is kind of how I would sum up this list. Fireflower down, to be honest? I don't know, I mean... Like, it's in B tier. Like, I think I have more success historically with a Fireflower than a Boomerang Flower. Just because you have, like, you don't need to be good at shot, you just fire out so much and you hit people. And let me put it this way, if I'm ahead of someone and I start seeing the fireballs come at me, I am just prepping in my mind, okay, I'm gonna get hit by something. If I am in front of someone and I see a boomerang fly past me, I think, okay, I might get hit, but probably not. So that's my logic for that. So yeah, this is it. This is the official, uncontroversial, uncontested Mario Kart items ranked.